So this is the daughter of the ruler of Dubai, and apparently she uses controversial rule on social media.
So apparently the thing is, it's actually a control thing. I don't know if I can speak about sheikhs.
No, speak.
So these guys actually pay these women to hold a strict diet for like 2 weeks so that they can know that they are in complete control of what that woman is putting into her body, and the girl needs to shit on them.
Welcome back to Star Hush, where the darkness is deep and the tea is still hot. And when it comes to French Montana, nobody does shade like 50 Cent, kid. Fifth has a troll prepared, polished, and ready to go if French even makes a mistaken sneeze. His trolling brought up a lot of issues, but it seems that French people aren't just avoiding confrontation. It could have been something far more careless.
So I usually do my homework. I'll find somebody who knows somebody or something. If you give me some information, like who is it? Like who is he? And Frenchie, they got me the tape. They got me the tape of his mother's house, where his mom's work at. You know what I'm saying? The other cribs, the studios, stuff like that.
That's the Cali tape.
Right.
Okay.
This is currently the most popular headline. According to reports, French Montana is engaged to a princess from Dubai who is thought to be worth $8 billion. Doesn't it seem like a fairy tale flex? For the average fan, French seems to have abruptly moved from the antics of local rappers to a position of international royalty. However, the story loses credibility after the gold plating is taken off. Rumor has it that this engagement is less about love and more about survival. You see, Diddler and French were once connected. French supposedly decided it was time for an escape plan because the federal government was allegedly crawling around like vultures, investigating everyone who had anything to do with those notorious bad boy freak-offs. And what's more secure than vanishing into Dubai, where Lambos dazzle, skyscrapers gleam, and money seems to fall out of the sky? It seems like the ideal getaway on paper. But there are shadows in every paradise. It becomes hefty at this point. Some members of the royal circles are nothing to play with, according to people who know Dubai's underbelly. The money cannot be touched. The scandalous rumors of what goes on beyond those castle doors don't even begin to illustrate the ultimate power. There have long been rumors of Western celebrities being flown out for celebrations and princes gathering favorites. They were so crazy that they couldn't even be written for HBO, famous for chasing bags, attending the most lavish parties, and befriending wealthy individuals. French Montana is currently enjoying a $7 billion safety net and is happily involved with a princess. The math seems a bit too exact to me. The worst is yet to come. Because of this, 50 Cent's shade is more than simply a joke. He's not just referring to an engagement ring when he says in French that he got bought. French, he says, switched one leash for another.
He entered Dubai's golden cage after dipping out of Diddler's fire pit.
Furthermore, the bars are sturdy in spite of the cage's lavish appearance. In addition, the penalty for crossing the line is far higher than the federal government could reasonably come up with. Consider it. Scandals in America dissipate with time. Government investigations even hinder or halt transactions. Monarchy, however, is a quite different matter in Dubai. They play more than just chess. The board is theirs? If even half of the stories surrounding those palaces are accurate, he exchanged one master for another, despite the French believing he had gained his liberty. This new master performs for keeps as well. Interview
It comes out, like we said, and now you have real deals on the table. And out of all those, you go with Diddy.
That's not how it really went.
Was it Diddy? Was it Bad Boy MMG?
Yeah, I went to go see Ross. And Ross was like, I got an opportunity for you. I don't have the money for you, but I got the opportunity. I guess because the same thing Meek did, the same thing Wale did. I guess whatever, the way the situation, his label was, he wasn't trying to give me the money I wanted. And I wanted like a whole bunch of money. But he was like, look, let's do it like this. Let's co-puff. And let's get him to give you the bag. You can still be MMG / you know what I'm saying? Bad Boy, Coke Boys, yep.
Right. How much money did you get?
$2 million.
Let's go back in time since it is difficult to fathom. French Montana's purported escape to Dubai without first understanding how he became engaged to Diddler's empire. You see, French didn't merely walk into a record deal after releasing that song. No, there was always an odd stench coming from the T next to that sign. Additionally, because Diddler has been the subject of multiple receipt leaks in recent years, fans are now paying more attention to the whole situation than they did previously. Let us rectify the situation. When labels came around, French wasn't some famished mixtape artist pleading for scraps. He had choices, actual choices. He was surrounded by Rock Nation. MMG and Rick Ross were really intrigued. He was even courted by Kanye's crew. However, Diddler, the same man who was known for dubious transactions, shady house parties, and other activities unrelated to cutting bars, sat at one of those tables with French. People began muttering, "Why would a man with so many doors open choose that one?" At that point. But Bad Boy was more than just a label. It was an entire way of life. The streets also said that the true cost of admission was occasionally the lifestyle. Rumor has it that Diddler did not only give French a check.
He opened the door for him.
The game, the wild parties, the women, the so-called freak-offs, and the unwritten rule that you will be rewarded if you play them. Fans have been tracking the pattern ever since, and every flashback makes the plot seem more confused. At first, French acknowledged that he took less cash up front than either Ross or Jay. Therefore, why discard larger checks to accompany Diddler? Second, the internet clocked it whenever French appeared, half dead, walking out of one of those notorious homes. French appears exhausted in images and videos that have surfaced from 2016 to 2019, and the dates consistently corresponded with Diddler's own festivities. Please, coincidence? After Diddler was imprisoned in 2024, the narrative took a more sinister turn. It was then revealed that some of the deals had nothing to do with music as former producers, and industry insiders began to come forward. They were about joining, remaining silent, and becoming loyal. Things that have nothing to do with the studio. Diddler allegedly blackballed one producer for declining to participate in one of those notorious sessions. Many people naturally respond, "Oh, we know what that means now," alluding to French's quick ascent under Bad Boy. Does French's name appear on a smoking gun receipt? Not quite yet. However, things are becoming unmanageable. At one of those late-night parties, Diddler gave him his own Sir French vanilla taste. French is shirtless next to Diddler, who is relaxing in a robe, in that widely shared birthday video. Both of them appear uncomfortably at ease. Furthermore, it is commonly known that French himself said he wanted the big bag. It should be noted that only Diddler was willing to give it to Puff. The casual fan assumed it was just another signing to the label. But to the streets, it appeared that a man was sacrificing something personal in order to advance his job. For the same reason, many people in Dubai believe that French people are constantly playing the same game.
Hi guys.
This is actually where the rabbit hole opens. French Montana appears at Passion Week in the summer of 2024, purportedly flaunting a fiancé in a brand new designer outfit. We're not talking about your normal Bronx romance, however. This was Shire, a princess with close ties to one of the leading families in Dubai. It's not romantic at all. It's a move of power, a midday chess match that lasts all day. You see, Diddler was being held more securely by federal authorities back home at the same time. Suspicious money transfers, strange audio rumors, trafficking whispers, and prosecutors building evidence like bricks are all common suspects. Suddenly, everyone in Diddler's close neighborhood became radioactive. Whether you were a producer, an assistant, or just someone popping bottles in the background, it made no difference. There were subpoenas flying in all directions. And French, he was more than a passing acquaintance. For years, he was essentially Diddler's shadow. The frequent kazines, the birthday excursions, and the Syrup endorsements. French's name must have been lighting brightly if the feds were connecting. What is the purpose of French, then? He doesn't simply back off. He hops all over the map. But not just into any secure location. One of the richest dynasties in the Middle East is linked to him. According to rumors, the Shaka family is worth over $18 billion. For as long as that, $7 billion generational riches, oil money seems insignificant. And when you are married into it, you get protection as well as money. You are permitted to reside in a nation that prohibits foreigners from meddling in its domestic affairs. That isn't love for a man who has ties to someone who is drowning in legal heat. That's survival mode for a courtier. Observe how quickly this romance developed. The interaction occurred at the same time that the US investigations intensified. All of a sudden, there are more French postings in Dubai than in New York or Los Angeles. To his admirers, it seems like a fairy tale-like moment of deep love. His detractors claim that it is the most effective escape strategy ever developed. The optics should also be taken into account. French appears younger, sharper, and as though he has been reborn in luxury each time he shares a photo of himself with his princess. However, the comments remain random. "Boy, you traded in diddler for Dubai," an admirer wrote. Another commenter said, "Better hope those sheikhs don't treat you the same way Puff did. The internet isn't buying the fairy tale." It shows a man switching between bosses. Interview 9.
I'll tell you what I actually learned. A friend of mine is an air hostess, and her friend was on a flight with her, and her friend was eating like a very specific diet. So apparently the thing is, it's actually a control thing. I don't know if I can speak about sheikhs.
No, speak.
So these guys actually pay these women to hold a strict diet for like 2 weeks so that they can know that they are in complete control of what that woman is putting into her body, and the girl needs to shit on them.
Wow.
So it's the girls aren't even getting shat on. The girls are shitting on these guys because then the guys feel like it's sick, like it's a control thing. So then they know, like, oh, you listened to me for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So that's probably their kink, that girls actually listen to them.
No 2-minute noodles.
Dubai.
We must talk about it. Even though French Montana undoubtedly wishes the bloggers would omit this part. Freedom is not usually the result of fleeing Uncle Sam to the United Arab Emirates. Sometimes it just indicates that you have a new contract that you can't break. Dubai likes to show off its glitzy side, you know. A line of Lambos, which resembled taxis, was present. Towers of glass that reach the sky. On boats, pet cheetahs ride shotgun. But beneath the glamour, there have been evil murmurs for years. After going mad for tax-free glamour, influencers and celebrities return home to disseminate gossip about palace parties where guests weren't treated like human beings. They received the same treatment as props. Men and women are said to be drawn into situations that are completely beyond their control. This is the reality. You don't make the rules when you have a few $1 million and everyone around you has billions. They do. Imagine Shikam Murat's family owning an $18 billion company next to French Montana. They don't consider him a mogul. He is ornamental. Despite his international fame, he is merely ornamental in Dubai. If they ever decide he's simply another decoration, he has enough glitz to attract attention but not enough strength to defend himself. He has no royal ancestry nor political clout. Fans are already describing this online as an upgrade to new handlers rather than an escape from Diddler. The Miami freak-offs are over. The opulent homes in Dubai are now owned by a whole dynasty. And it's not all fairy tales and flawless pictures of this family. Additionally, they have been a part of international scandals. Do you recall Shikamar's 2024 divorce, which was extensively posted on Instagram? In just 3 words, she left her spouse, shocking the entire world. "I'm going to divorce you." In royal circles, such public disobedience is unheard of. Yes, that is admirable, but it also demonstrates how busy a palace's backstage operations can be. Princess Shamsa's purported abduction, Princess Latifa's abortive escape attempt, and her family's saga are all connected to their father, the absolute ruler of Dubai. What is French's new father-in-law's name? Yes, the headlines were written by the same tyrant. The glitzy romance suddenly becomes dull. Not anymore. This is why it makes sense that the internet would make fun of French's alleged $7 billion escape plan. The concept is great. Lock down residency, marry into absurd wealth, and hide behind a royal shield in case the federal government ever comes calling. Socially, though, it's déjà vu. French has been ridiculed for years as the preferred companion of the dotterer. Birthday dinner sans shirts, oddly tight festivities, and odd styrofoam presents. The whispers now indicate that he did not escape that force. He simply lifted the scale. An entire Habibi dynasty took the place of one sugar daddy. Here's the joke. For us, French, hip-hop has always been about the tenacious underdog. The Moroccan boy who made it to the major leagues from the Bronx. However, Dubai royalty isn't a bad boy. They are not outshone by you. You don't make them look terrible. Additionally, you never truly outlive your usefulness. The French did not abandon a velvet leash, if any of those palace legends are to be believed. He got a fancy gold cage. Interview.
And I'm sure there were some other ones also.
Yeah. I came to Steve Rifkin when I had Chopper Down. I walked in the office. It was him and Gabi.
Yep.
And Gabi was manager. I was like, yo, Steve, give me $200,000. Let me go make music. You know what I'm saying? Just let me. Steve was like, nah, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Never got it.
Never got it. I dropped.
Which is funny because Gabi's the president of SRC. Steve is like the CEO, but
so I don't know what type of
but
weird.
Steve makes the final call.
Yeah. So I asked for 200,000. You know what I'm saying? And
let's be completely honest now. The loudest French Montana jokes aren't coming from fans or bloggers. It's 50 Cent, of course. This is where things start to become heated. Fif is viewed as nothing more than amusing trolling. However, what if these purported jokes are in fact cautions? Consider it. Even though he has the endurance to constantly roast you, 50 is the big bro who doesn't actually want to watch you burn to death. He has been disparaging French for years, calling him a leftover, claiming that he has washed, and treating him as if he were inconsequential. But French is entering an issue. The French did not come to Dubai for romance, let's face it. He found an entire royal chessboard. Moreover, he is not the king in that game. Perhaps he is the pawn. Here's the twist, though. The French might not even think that. People think he exchanged one leash for another. It probably feels like a level increase to him. He ran through mixtapes and stairwells to enter opulent residences with multi-billion-dollar security. The Bronx is where he was born. It yells caged bird to onlookers. It must be like a dream to French. Velvet chairs, on-call drivers, and scandals that are hidden before they get onto blogs. Perhaps he has always desired this life. Extremely comfy, but not free. This is why the expressions from the 1950s are so powerful. Because every questionable post and meme conceals a fact that no one wants to confront. 50 established his empire by going it alone, transforming street power into business power and establishing himself as the untouchable boss. French could have turned his grind into a source of income in the interim. However, he received protection that most rappers could only hope for in return. Here, who is actually losing? What? It's ironic. It's a mess. It is also the problem that French Montana is facing at the moment. He is considered property on the internet. He must feel like a king or queen. Perhaps the most bizarre twist of all is that one. French might be sitting in a palace drinking tea and grinning to himself as if this had always been the plan, while 50 Cent is constantly criticizing French on social media. I want to know if French made the greatest amazing power move we've seen in years, or if he simply walked right into another fire after escaping the first one. My stars and my hushers, the next chapter of this narrative is going to get even more crazy, so please leave your thoughts in the comments section. Click the like button and remember to subscribe. Hear you've.